This is part 3 of a multi-part video series where I will be discussing Sword Art Online's major criticisms in detail. Watch the introduction episode 0 first if you haven't already. After the Kirito character analysis, an Asuna character analysis is only a logical continuation. She's always considered the first tsundere, then damsel in distress character that doesn't actually do anything other than standing around looking funny and needing to be rescued. Oh boy, are you wrong. If there is one family in the entire series I would absolutely not want to be part of, it would be the Yukis. It is repeatedly pointed out by various members of the family that they are very traditionalist, an old family that survived the Meiji Restoration. Asuna is surrounded by her many relatives, where all of the children are part of an eternal race to find out who's the best and the greatest, who enters the most prestigious university, and who gets the highest paying job. Her parents are probably the worst part of this, but to be clear, they just want what they feel is the best for their daughter. And as with Kirito, then SAO rolls around and changes everything. Asuna ends up in the game due to an accident. Her brother bought the nerf gear and SAO, but as he is on business at launch time, Asuna dives in just to try out and promptly gets trapped. This girl, no gaming experience, just being occupied with school and meeting her parents' expectations all her life, is part of an incident that will kill thousands of people more experienced than her. People like Kirito, hardcore gamers that have been waiting their entire life for such an experience, breaking down in the face of death, unable to mobilize their skills. And Asuna is the same. Her first reaction is to lock herself in the safe zone for weeks before somehow getting herself together and starting to play the game, even if she still thinks that she is going to die eventually. Remember that she isn't the kind of mad escapist that Kirito was, or the sensationalistic sadist that POH or Johnny Black were. She sees no purpose in this world other than to play the game in order to escape it as fast as possible. Because Asuna knows, every day she spends in this world, she also loses in real life, falls behind her parents' expectations and her many cousins' achievements. I've already talked about it, but I'll mention it again. Then Kirito comes along and changes that view. She realizes that by actually treating the game as your reality, you can derive much more enjoyment from it. In her and Kirito's case, much more enjoyment. As the monologue in Volume 7 Chapter 1 lays out excellently, she will never be the same after leaving the game. She started to fight for her own goals, independent of what others demand of her. Kirito is now the thing worth fighting for, and her parents and her family are put on the backseat. Just to quickly address her tsundere in the beginning of Aincrad. Yes, it is a common trope, but that doesn't make it automatically bad. Flashbacks to harem section. And there is some reasoning behind it. Asuna has never been in love with anyone and maybe is unsure about how to deal with her feelings. The resolution of her tsundere, however, is a great display of character growth. And now we reach the damsel in distress part in Fairy Dance. To be honest, this is outrageous and I shouldn't need many words to prove you wrong. Asuna tries to figure out the passcode used for her cage and succeeds with a mirror. She immediately rushes towards the first console she can find to log out, but even when being interrupted by the scientists and locked up again, she manages to steal the admin access card for the console. Upon hearing Kirito and Yui approach the tree from below, she throws the card at them, and Kirito later uses it to open the lower gate to Sugo's upper tree sections. Just for anybody who didn't hear the shots, Asuna is the only reason that Kirito and the others can save her and the other 300 trapped SAO players. And for that matter, Asuna almost escaped herself, had she just been a second faster. This isn't damsel in distress, this is literally the most that could have been expected from anyone and then some. Okay, the without plot importance section. I'm quite out of words now. Asuna helps Kirito with literally every boss he kills on screen. She saves his ass from dying more than once. She has her own amazing arc in Mother Susario in terms of standing up to her goals and beliefs in front of her parents. In that, she's even 10 times more protagonist than Kirito. And she doesn't exactly get the short end of the stick in Alicization either. When Kazuto is attacked, she remembers the poison's name and therefore saves his life. She sneaks into the ocean turtle, not a small feat, just to make sure that Kazuto is alright. She's the first one who can trigger any brain activity in him, and that later makes Higa realize how he can restore Kazuto's damaged soul. She uses the Stasia abilities to her absolute limits and becomes invaluable for the Human Empire army's survival. She attacks POH with Mother Susario even though she's almost dead. She creates a staircase to help Alice escape at the world's end altar. Again, the anime grossly misrepresents her role in War of Underworld. This video is part of a series discussing SAO's major criticisms. The next episode should be on screen right now.